This ain't hot coffee, this is hot tea, but we're gonna discuss some hot coffee right now.
So my nan texted me to tell me that she's really proud of my YouTube videos, but if you're watching this one, Nan, I would just close the window because this video lightly discusses some unusual themes. In 2005, a hidden piece of code in one of the most iconic video games sparked a storm of controversy that would somewhat change the industry. Today we're diving deep into the history of the GTA San Andreas hot coffee mod. Released in 2004 by Rockstar Games, GTA San Andreas was not only a commercial hit, it was a cultural phenomenon. Set in the fictional California-inspired state, San Andreas offered players a rich story, expansive freedom across multiple areas, and a level of detail that brought a sense of realism to our screens. GTA San Andreas was primarily a large open-world game, especially for its time. Yet beneath this surface lay secrets that its creators didn't fully intend to share. One of San Andreas' predecessors, GTA 3, had already received backlash upon its release in 2001 from US senators such as Joe Lieberman and anti-video game activist Jack Thompson. Both GTA 3 and GTA Vice City received mature 17+ ratings from the ESRB, which are the people in charge of game ratings in the US, and they were deemed not suitable for children, which it's kind of obvious. So what exactly was hot coffee? Originally, it was a short interactive minigame that allowed the player's character, CJ, to engage in a somewhat graphic sexual encounter with his in-game girlfriend. And the reason this content was named hot coffee by the people that discovered it is because following an activity where CJ has to sufficiently impress a potential girlfriend, they then invite him back for some hot coffee. That obviously being a euphemism for something a lot more steamy. This content was never supposed to be for public consumption. It was essentially a slither of early access development stages where Rockstar experimented with more adult themes, but never released them into the actual game. Even though GTA already explores adult themes, the inclusion of this minigame simply would have been taking it too far. But how it happened is, before the game's release, the code for hot coffee was disabled by the developers, meaning that the content was inaccessible during its normal gameplay to its players. However, it still existed deep in the game's files, and this meant it was only a matter of time before someone with the right technical skills and inquisitive nature could unlock it. And if you weren't a modder who managed to find their way into the depths of these files, or ever installed the patch, then at this point in the game, you just hear some suspect sounds from the outside of the house without ever seeing what was going on inside. And this is the way the experience was intended to play out. If you want to know what went on in this forbidden scene, well, I can't describe it to you because I'd probably get demonetized. But I'm sure you can find it on the internet somewhere. Let's just say though, it gets pretty in-depth. This begs the question though, why? Why did Rockstar ever have this in the game in the first place? Whether it was buried deep in the back end, no pun intended, of the game's code or not, why put something in the game if you claim you didn't want it to be found? Well, pretty much because the president of Rockstar Games believed the way to make Grand Theft Auto games more interactive and include more functionality, while staying in line with the franchise's vibe, was to include more explicit sexual content. This of course caused an issue because the game's main audience was younger players. Sam Houser, who is the Rockstar Games president, emailed Rockstar Games director with a list of explicit content and interactions he wanted included in the game. And the list is pretty wild. But they knew including the stuff in the game would get them an adult-only rating, which was a huge no-no for them. So they started researching how to push the boundaries while staying in line with regulations. On August 16th, Houser received an email from Rockstar co-founder on all of the explicit content he would need to exclude from the game to keep it in line with the age rating they wanted. But it was too late. There would not have been time to remove all of the explicit content from the game, for example, the hot coffee minigame, without compromising the source code and encountering problems on release. So instead of removing it, he just hid it. And this would never be able to be found by your average player. In 2004, after the game's release, a group of modders, including one called Patrick Wildenborg, was looking into the file formats to mod the game, as a modder does, when they discovered files with very suspect names. But they had to wait until June of 2005 for the PC release of the game to edit the files and confirm their findings were really what they thought. Wildenborg later released the game patch on a website called gtagarage.com, and he called it hot coffee because of the earlier mentioned in-game conversation. Now, it wasn't long before this went viral, and it was discovered by Hauser. And Rockstar then told the ESRB that it was the result of a third-party mod, so not something ever included in the original game, and they would corroborate an investigation. But unfortunately, things got worse. A speaker of the California State Senate gave the ESRB a big old telling off for not giving the game an adult-only rating. There was a whole bunch of drama going on with lots and lots of people getting involved, and all eyes were on the hot coffee mod, which forced the person that discovered it to make a statement on his website, claiming, "I would really like to stress that this material is only accessible after willfully applying the hot coffee mod or something similar to the game." And in July, Rockstar denied any responsibility for the mod. I mean, technically they're not responsible for the mod, but they were responsible for the files included that allowed the mod to bloom, claiming it was the work of a determined group of hackers who have gone to significant lengths to alter scenes in the official version of the game. This was kind of bending the truth. The discovery of this game's mod led to the age rating being changed, which is a disaster. It went from mature to adults only, and selling of the game was stopped in stores such as Walmart and Best Buy. Following this outrage, even people such as Hillary Clinton introduced the Family Entertainment Protection Act to basically prevent the sale of violent or sexually explicit games to minors. And the Federal Trade Commission, who regulate a variety of consumer protection laws, launched an investigation into whether Rockstar had misled the ESRB about the game's content. The FTC later ruled that Rockstar had violated disclosure laws, requiring future games to disclose all content accurately. The hot coffee scandal sent shockwaves through the video game industry. Developers became more cautious about what they left in their code, knowing that even unused content could someday see the light of day. The controversy sparked discussion about transparency in game development, leading to more stringent quality control and content reviews before release. And the situation led the ESRB to change the way they rated games, leading to stricter guidelines. In the following years, Grand Theft Auto 4 included subtle references to the controversy, and Grand Theft Auto 5 featured similar content but with a mature rating. In 2020, a mod of Red Dead Redemption was also removed due to similar themes, showing the ongoing sensitivity to this type of content. The San Andreas modification controversy wasn't just about one game. The fallout served as a stern reminder that consumer trust is important. One misstep could lead to enormous financial and reputational damage. Although, despite a couple of lawsuits arising from the mishap, the general consensus is that most of the outrage came from leaders, politicians, and media governing organizations, rather than the players themselves. But nonetheless, Rockstar were on very thin ice. This wasn't the end of the game though. The fallout of this meant that all Rockstar had to do was release a version of the game without the inclusion of this code in it, and the game would be allowed to continue selling. So in August, Rockstar Games released a game patch disabling access to hot coffee for Windows customers. And by September, San Andreas had been edited and released for an M-rated game for Windows and Xbox, returning to its original rating, and all was somewhat well again. Today, the legacy of the hot coffee mod serves as a caution. It highlights the issues that can arise when attempting to really push the boundaries of creative expression, and when trying to create something that's really new and will get players talking. For Rockstar and other game developers, it's a reminder of the importance of transparency and accountability. For players, it sparked a newfound awareness of the layers of content hidden beneath the game's surface, and the kinds of things that can be unlocked when modern communities get involved. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive and into the history of the impact of the hot coffee mod. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment on your thoughts. Was this a big deal, or was it really blown out of proportion? And until next time, keep gaming, see you in the next one, and PS, subscribe so I can make my nan proud, thank you.